What's going on, y'all, man? It's your man, Jeff, Philly Freck 215.
What's up, y'all, man? This is Carl, man, a.k.a. Pastor Carl Day, the only preacher / sports podcaster in America. And we happy to be here today, man. It's the draft reaction episode, y'all.
Episode 2.
Absolutely, episode 2, man. Like, word. Shout out to Just, man. He definitely got us the statistics back, man. And it's good to see, man. We got quite a few people downloading the podcast already.
Appreciate that.
We had somebody in India, in the Netherlands. That definitely went ahead and downloaded
that was
this,
dope.
man. So, it's safe to say we worldwide a little bit.
Yeah, we can say that. Yeah, most definitely.
So shout out to y'all, man, that's listening and tuning in, man. This is dope, man. So, man, we got a great episode, man. It's going to be a little longer. Last episode was only an hour. This time we got an hour and a half.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about, man. A lot to talk about. A lot of good stuff to talk about, man. A lot of good football, man. Me and Jeff going to discuss today. Man, draft reaction, y'all. So many people, Twitter, we've seen your reactions. Some people pissed off, some people happy. You know how I go, man. That's typical overreaction.
Some people clueless, don't know.
some is generous, man. That's generous to you to say that, man. But yeah, lots of clueless people, man, that just wanted to argue, man. But we gonna kick it off, man. We really gonna get into it. So man, the first thing we outlined in today is top 5 draft, top 5 teams, and I guess we'll keep our teams out of it. Because we're gonna break our teams down. We're gonna break our teams down. But me and Jeff gonna talk about, man, top 5 teams we like in the draft, and the few teams that we didn't like in the draft. So Jeff, kick it off, brother. Talk to us.
All right, one team I like what they really did, man, was the Houston Texans, man. Like, it's not being talked about, but what they did, finally getting that quarterback, Deshaun Watson, a quarterback that won't hurt them when the playoff time comes, like a guy that's a known winner. Best quarterback in the draft, you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
So, but they got him in there. That's really gonna help them big time. I know D-Hop. I know he happy. They added Zach Cunningham in the second round, linebacker, replaced Cushion. He about to wear down. Add him to that defense. That was a big move. Donta Foreman, running back from Texas. Add him with Lamar Miller in the run game. I think that'll help that offense a little bit. You ain't got to wear Lamar Miller down, have a 1-2 punch there.
Mm-hmm.
Also getting Julian Davenport, potential, future left tackle. Let him develop like maybe a year or two behind Dwayne Brown. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I really, really, really like what they did, man. Especially getting that quarterback. That's a guy, like I said, once again, that won't hurt them when they in that wild card because they're going to make it again. But he won't be a liability out there. Bill O'Brien can be able to do what he wants. Because he got a quarterback that can do everything. You know what I'm saying? So I really like what they did. San Francisco, John Lynch, he didn't look like a first-time GM, man, with the moves he was pulling off. But to get Solomon Thomas and then, Reuben Foster, even though some questions about, his shoulder or whatever it may be, off-the-field concerns. Keller Witherspoon, who I really, really like, I think he's going to be a good corner one day. But what they did, getting them 2 studs, Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster, like no matter what else they did, after they could have picked anybody after that. Them 2 going to be the staples, along with Armstead and Buckner. That front 7 going to be is going to be a force, man.
Don't forget old man Bowman.
Yeah. The vet, they still got Jimmy Ward out there, so Eric Reed. But they got Shanahan. Once he get that offense together, I think they're gonna be. all right in that NFC West. Also, like what the Chargers did, getting Mike Williams, who I thought was the best receiver in the draft, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Getting Forrest Lamp and Dan Freeney on that O-line to protect Rivers and open them holes for Gordon up some more. Like I think that was a big deal. Also, the Saints, like what they did as well. Getting Lattimore, and
Ohio State Buckeye.
I think that's where he went. But seriously, if they get his hamstrings together, man, 'cause that was the only question I had about him. It's not his talent, but it's just that. But if his hamstrings is good to go, they definitely got a number 1 corner there. And like I said, getting the left tackle, Ramczyk. I think that was a big deal.
What about Kamara?
Yeah, I was about to get them too. Kamara added him to that backfield. I don't know what they're going to do with Ingram because I know they assigned AP too. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they go with the three-headed monster or let, Kamara learn for a year. But I don't know what they're going to do there. But also Marcus Williams, ball hawk safety. So you get him with Lattimore to help that because offense never been a problem in New Orleans. There's always that defense, but they got some playmakers in that secondary. And my fifth team I like, final team, Cincinnati. I like what they did. Getting John Ross and Joe Mixon, controversial, but adding them two to that offense with A.J. Green and you get Eifert back, that's explosive. And also on the defensive side of the ball, getting Jordan Willis and Carl Lawson, adding them two.
Really good move.
I mean, you gotta like what they did. Also, Glassall, the DT from Michigan, solid underrated move. I think they did as well. But yeah, those are the 5 teams I think really really did good. There's a lot of other teams, but I'll be here all day going through. But I had to break it down. Those 5. Those are the 5 teams that I really they did solid moves all around.
Well, I mean, listen, man. I keep trying to tell y'all, man. Listen, me and Jeff. I mean, for the most part, we do agree on stuff because I would like to think we good football minds. So that's why sometimes we think alike. But we definitely don't agree all the time, man. Y'all gonna see that, man. I'm telling you right now, listen. During the regular season, man, it's gonna be war. You know what I mean? It's definitely gonna be war. Not to mention, man, when Jeff predict like 10 wins for the Eagles, whenever it's time to predict,
turn to 14-2.
Because I know he gonna do that. But when they got 7 losses by week 12, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be looking a little crazy for him. But I mean, I'm gonna say this, man. 5 teams. And like Jeff said, man, honestly, bro, it was totally difficult to pick 5 teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't understand how hard it was. Me and Jeff both agreed that this draft is probably one of the deepest drafts all across the board in a long time.
Long time.
Not really a lot of top-end offensive line talent, not a lot of top-end elite quarterback talent. But at the same time, everywhere else, man, it was just rich. Mm-hmm. So I do think quite a few teams did well. Draft grades, too. Another thing, y'all, too, honestly, remember, all of this is projections. You know what I mean? We're not sitting here saying that these guys are just like bona fide, stars from the jump and everything else. Mm-hmm. So, we always going to be able to look back at this and, be able to really, really grade it later. But just for, sports fans' sake, we just wanted to talk about this because we don't want people sitting here hitting us up at week 14. Like, I thought you, yeah. Come on with the nerdy crap, man. But dig, man. So 5 teams, y'all. From the jump, I like the Colts. Malik Hooker, I felt like he was outside of Myles Garrett. I think he's the best defensive player in the draft, and still possibly could be a better defensive player ultimately than Myles Garrett to me. And he's a Buckeye. So, yeah, man, I mean, he gets extra points for that. But the Colts to get Malik Hooker at the point where they got him at in the draft was just unbelievable to me. So, and I already said in the last episode that the Colts were one of my favorite teams in the offseason with the moves they already made. So the additions that they added up front with Malik Hooker in that secondary, then you come right back in the second round to get Quincy Wilson, who literally probably could have been ranked anywhere from as the best corner to maybe the 3rd best corner if you talk to various people, and was like definitely a bona fide first-round talent. But that's just how deep cornerback was. Like, cornerback was so rich in this draft. It was first-round talent going all the way in the second round, and then some guys even slipped down to the 3rd. So Quincy Wilson, to get him from Florida, man, big corner, can do it all. Mirror and chase after the best wide receiver on the team. For them to get them guys back-to-back, they secondary is just vastly improved already. Then to get Terrell Basham, the pass rusher out of Ohio, to get him there in the 3rd round, I think for those guys to go ahead and have 1, 2, 3 just like that, the Colts, those first 3 picks, man, was just amazing to me, man. So shout out to the Colts. I really like what they done. Jeff, as you said, the Chargers. to get Mike Williams, and then to upgrade that offensive line.
Major, man.
To upgrade that offensive line, because, I mean, that defense is stepping up, period. So they really was looking towards the offense like, yo, is y'all going to help us out? Is y'all going to help sustain some drives and everything else? So I know Melvin Gordon got to be sitting there rejoicing like, yo, y'all really did y'all thing. Good looking out.
Yep.
So they definitely helped that offensive line out, man, with Feeney and Lamp. But then to get Mike Williams there too, because they definitely needed that bona fide number one wide receiver.
Yeah, you know, Allen going out.
I'm about to say, Allen's definitely always hurt, man. He definitely has the talent, man. It's just a sad thing to see, man, that he just can't stay healthy.
Yep.
And it's just various injuries too. So definitely, man, the Chargers killed it. So they definitely upgraded the offense. One person that you didn't mention was Desmond King. For them to get Desmond King, man, in round 5, I really had Desmond King as a second-round talent. And earlier on throughout the year in college, you know, people had him mocked as a first-round pick, you know what I'm saying, to play corner, and he give you versatility and can play safety. So I think, man, to get Desmond King all the way in round 5 after losing Eric Weddle before, you know, I think that they really got better after the draft, man. So shout out to the Chargers. I love what the Falcons did. I think for them to get Todd McKinley, Duke Riley, and then even to get DeMonte Casey out of San Diego State in like the 5th round, their defense, because that's a team that don't have too many holes. They was just in the Super Bowl. Right. You know what I'm saying? So their offense is already upper echelon. Like, their offense score points and they come at you fast. That's what they do. And they got a great duo at running back. You know what I'm saying? Great core wide receivers. And they got a great quarterback too. It took me a while to come around to Matt Ryan, but he had a great year last year. And again now you got Todd McKinley, who was my first-round projection pick and hopeful pick to the Cowboys, who got the pick right before. They moved up to get him too, so they were smart.
They probably knew.
Yeah, they knew. Knew Dallas had interest there, but to get him there and to have him on the other side of Vic Beasley. You know what I'm saying? To add another corner there, but Duke Riley, tackling machine out of LSU, and to get him in the 3rd round was just crazy value, because I really had Duke Riley as, like, you know, a 2nd-round grade type of player anyway. So to get him to already mobile and fast unit of linebackers is just crazy, man. I think the Falcons have truly upgraded themselves. Added some more young defensive talent that's really going to help that team. And they ain't playing no games, man. They coming at quarterbacks next year. So I like the Ravens. Definitely like the Ravens. Yo, to get Humphreys, Marlon Humphrey in the 1st round. Jeff, I know you wasn't as high on him, man, as far as you were saying him making plays on the ball and whatnot. But, I mean, talking about just his physicality, his size, athleticism, his speed, too, as well. At cornerback is just crazy. With, not to mention they got Bowser. Not to mention they got Wormley. Not to mention they got Tim Williams. So, like, these are all guys where you see in Elvis Dumervil, when you starting to see Suggs and these guys getting old, the Ravens pick guys that are perfect for their scheme. They run that out. They run that 3-4, and they grab 2 guys, Tim Williams and Bowser, who can literally come and fly the quarterback from the outside linebacker position. I know some people wanted Dallas to be interested in Bowser, but Bowser, to me, just didn't really fit as a 4-3 defensive end. So I think he went to a perfect situation and scenario, same way similar to T.J. Watt going to Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? Those guys were really, to me, mainly and more so outside linebackers. So I think that those were great fits there, man. And I also, I even like the free safety they took, man, Chuck Clark from Virginia Tech. Okay. Late in the draft, man. I think they got a nice pick there. It'll be a guy they can develop. But not to mention they're not even pressed to really have to do much with him, but he adds versatility because they got Tony Jefferson and they have Eric Weddle. So adding those guys and those pieces. My only problem with Baltimore though is, what did you add on offense? You know what I'm saying?
It seems like they never do.
Yeah, right.
For some reason.
You know, so I'm just still waiting for them to really they paid Flacco, but get him some help, man. Right. But I definitely love what they did on defense, man. That defense is going to be tremendous, man. And they just really bought themselves probably 5-6 definitely more really good years just because of that defense alone. Right. I do like the Bengals, just like you said, for all the same reasons. To add John Ross, to add Mixon. Jordan Willis was a steal in the 3rd round, man. Mixon is – and I'm going to tell you another thing. A lot of people may not like the Mixon pick for them because they brought up Mixon's past. ESPN definitely was idiots of the year.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Like they were clowns. Like, to sit there and the guy get drafted and you just play the whole damn video like right before the people. Like, how don't you sit there and allow a kid to enjoy the fact that he just got drafted? Man, Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later. But again, the Bengals, to get Lawson in round 4, he might even be the steal of the draft, to be honest with you.
Possible.
Getting picked in round 4 to go along with Geno Atkins, to go along with Dunlap, just the guys that they got on that defense, period, man. To go along with those guys, man, and Jordan Willis. Man, I'm going to tell you the only negative with the Bengals, too, to me, Josh Malone, and you like Glasgow. I like him as well, but I think that to grab as many defensive tackles, or I think they added a little too many guys on the defensive line to me. I think they already got guys on the defensive line. Glasgow definitely can be a solid defensive tackle in the future and whatnot. But right. I think to add those those extra 4th round picks, they could have did a little bit more and could have went some different ways with some other guys that were still on the board, especially to add offensive help as well. But I definitely think they killed it with the Ross and Mixon picks. I'm gonna tell you, the Browns, easy winners, man, easy winners, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, Garrett, stud. Peppers, so underrated, man. People just keep talking about what's his position. Listen, great defensive coordinators know how to use great talents, and I think that you can move that guy from playing, and he can play the nickel linebacker spot to play safety. He can line up all over the place, cover a lot of ground. Browns did a great job with him, man, and Njoku to get him at tight end, man, late in the first, to get back in the first round, to get him later on, man. Stud on offense. To get Kaiser. I think Kaiser was very, very close to all the rest of the quarterbacks in this draft. I think shout out to the Bears for saving the Browns from even trading up or them do anything crazy to get Trubisky, because he's really just not that good. Also, Larry Ogunjobi.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, the defensive lineman from Charlotte. Yo, shout out to his defensive line coach, brother, friend of mine, Aaron Curry, man, who actually told me, man, about this kid a minute ago and was just saying, man, he was really going to be a good player, man. Really was going to be a stud. Watch the kid, man. Listen, up front on that defensive line, good move for the Browns. And then later on to get Caleb Brantley in the 6th round. Listen, the kid beats this case or whatever he has to go through right now with this case with the alleged assault he had against a woman. He beats that case. Literally, he's late 1st round, top 2nd round talent. So you get him in the 6th round go with Garrett, to go with Ogunjobi, to go with Peppers and everything else that they added. Yo, listen, the Browns have truly, truly improved themselves. And I even sat there and gave them props for not overspending in free agency. So my goodness, man, the Browns are headed up, man. So look, man, teams I didn't like the Bears draft. Didn't like the Bears draft at all, man. Bears, Eddie Jackson, the Trubisky nonsense, man. The reports that John Fox didn't even know they was taking him. Like, you got to pray for John Fox, man, sitting there trying to coach that circus over there.
Pretty much on his, this probably his last year, man. When you do something like that, no communication.
And you know what, though? The crazy thing is, not that I care too much for Chip Kelly at all, but they were saying last year that's how it was with the Niners draft when Chip Kelly was trying to get Dak Prescott in the 2nd round, and the Niners just disregarded him, right, and just still left him out there without a quarterback. Yep. So to do this right here after you paid Mike Glennon $14.5 million, $15 million to do what? So you mortgaged the future to go get a guy, man, who literally barely could beat out anybody else at North Carolina and sit right here, play 13 games, and just. Man, the Bears definitely
to move up, to give up all that draft
one
capital.
pick, to move one pick. Yo, man. So Bears, man, y'all flunked. Panthers, I didn't like the Panthers draft.
Okay.
I seen quite a few people was high on them. Not to say McCaffrey's a bad pick. Curtis Samuel, The Ohio State University, Buckeye, very good player. I feel like they were one and the same. I felt like Panthers definitely didn't need to go ahead. You either do one or the other. I think the Panthers could have took Hooker, and then you could have took Samuel in the 2nd round and could have just went straight Buckeye Nation, and then you grab 2 players that can impact the team in numerous various ways. Hooker could sit there, first of all, make up for the loss of Josh Norman, help that secondary out, and then you can use Samuel, who played running back and wide receiver in Ohio State, to do both of the things that McCaffrey's going to do, or that you hoping McCaffrey to do anyway in the first, and you didn't have to really take a back that high. So for them to go back-to-back picks with 2 guys that they really kind of want to be able to use use on some handoffs and didn't use for the quick screens and everything else. It just didn't make sense to me. And I doubt the fact that Carolina and Ron Rivera and those guys have enough creativity on offense to even do that. You know what I'm saying? So I doubt it. I got doubts all over the place what Carolina did. Packers, they drafted 3 running backs. What are you doing, Green Bay? I just didn't understand that move either, man, to be honest with you. Definitely could have used more offensive line help. Kevin King is legit, though, so that was definitely good. Josh Jones, to me, was pricey in the second round. I had other safeties ranked better than, over Josh Jones, I'm sorry. In the Rams, I like Cooper Kupp, but at the same time, they didn't do much to help out Jared Goff. Yeah. I don't think he's enough just to be his help, the help that Goff needs on offense. And shoot, for that matter, even Ty Gurley, you know what I'm saying? He's looking for help too, So I think the Rams are going to be another team that's good defense, but offense just didn't really do much. So, who didn't you like, man, in the draft?
It's like I said, so many teams did so well, man. I just got 2 teams I didn't like, man. Starting off, like you said, we'll touch on it. The Bears, man. I don't know what they was doing. Like, then to come to find out when they drafted Trubisky, he didn't even know. Like, he no, and I didn't know they was going to pick me. So you do all this for a quarterback, you don't really know much about.
Kind of relationship with.
Like last year when we did what we did, and with the Rams did what they did with Goff and Wentz, we met with them guys, workouts, and went out on dinners and got to know the kid, man. It just seemed like they was like, all right, we need a quarterback. All right, Trubisky, we gonna trade all this for him. And for the fact that Fox didn't know, like it's just that was just terrible to me, man. To gamble like that and give up all them picks for a guy you really don't know too much about. That was crazy. And also,
and who was he throwing to, by the way?
Yeah,
Kevin White still got to,
if he can be healthy.
Yeah, he got to be healthy. He got to, he got to do something.
I didn't understand what Chicago was doing, man. And other team I didn't like, man, was the Giants. Evan Ingram, they list him as a tight end, but he's really another wide receiver to me. Like,
me too.
So he don't. Like, pitting him, like, he don't help you in blocking at all. So, like, you got Marshall. There's only one football. Marshall, Shepard, Odell. Taking him over, Bowles or Ramczyk, whoever you thought was the top tackle, where they definitely could use. Taking him over that, I didn't understand that at all. Then in the second round, taking Dalvin Tomlinson, that just felt like, okay, we lost Hankins, so we're going to take this guy here. But it was, to me, you could have took Deion Dawkins, from Temple, put on the line again to address the offensive line.
Yeah.
Or even Zach Cunningham, because your linebackers are, so at best. So
would have been a major move for them to get Zach
Cunningham. So I don't, I didn't understand what they did at all. I don't think they helped themselves Thursday night, and Thursday and Friday with those picks. Like, they could have had more impact. Well, they could have helped their teams more, addressing the offensive line, because who's going to protect Eli with all them weapons? Like, he ain't going to have that much time to throw the ball. So, but yeah, those 2 teams, I really didn't understand what they did.
Great point, man. Great point. I mean, you know what? And it's funny, bro, because I agree with you with the Giants too as well. I like the player in Ingram, but again, it's like, unless you declare that he's a wide receiver from the jump, and that's where you're working him at, I understand it, because they rented Brandon Marshall for 1 year.
1 year.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, he's no future. So if you're saying Ingram's your outside wide receiver, then boom, all right, cool, solid move. If that's the intention that the team has, but if you're selling him as like a bona fide tight end, then you're supposed to draft Njoku.
Yeah,
Njoku's like 20 years old, no tweener. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Real legit solid body at tight end, and got athleticism, speed, everything that you need. So, I'm with you. And just like you said, to be able to help Eli out, man, on that offensive line, it was just guys, like you said, Feeney, it was Deion Dawkins. Like, it was a couple guys there, man, that they really could have went ahead, man, and really, really improved that offensive line with. Or Cunningham, man, like game changers.
Yeah,
you get Cunningham and Landon Collins together on the same defense, and because like you said, if they wanted to replace Hankins, they could have probably went with a vet defensive tackle.
Right.
Like, you could have signed a cheap vet, like after June 1st cuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are guys that you're gonna be able to plug in on that defensive line, because you already got You already got Harrison. You already got the 2 ends you done spent a fortune on. You could just, dog, they can put you or I, you know what I'm saying, at DT with those other 3 guys on that front 4. And you didn't have to invest that second round pick into them. High, just high second round pick, man. I agree with you there, bro. I definitely agree with you there, man.
Totally didn't understand what they did.
Oh, man. But yeah, so I guess, but yeah, those are the guys we think that won. One more team I like to think that won too. I would like to say one to me, which was one of the reasons why I was down on the Rams. I think Minnesota cleaned up. I think Minnesota to get Dalvin Cook, man, to get help, man, from my boy Elfin from Ohio State. I think also to get Bucky Hodges later on, a guy who was like, is he a wide receiver? Is he a tight end? To get him though late in the draft, like they got him, high value to me. I think I could have saw him go as early as in the second round because dude literally, I mean, he's very athletic, great size. And again, like they made the most out of not having a first round pick, and I think the Rams probably should have took notice to what they was doing, man, at some point. So shout out to Minnesota, man. But yeah, so all right, so listen, Jeff, man, biggest surprise in the draft. Although I think we may know that one.
To me, it was what Chicago did for the quarterback. Even Rich Eisen, them, you heard it. They was like, whoa, like even Trubisky himself. Then I seen a report. They said nobody in the green room knew. Like Chicago didn't call nobody. So normally, you see the kids on the phone. They, thank you. They didn't call anybody. So it was just a weird moment, man. You ask me.
That's definitely good. I agree with you there too, man. It's crazy. Crazy thing is, I was trying to figure out like who else do I sit there and say that was like very, very surprising, like pick that probably went too early. But the first round, man, teams pretty, in my estimation, as far as I feel, everybody did pretty solid job. I would say behind Trubisky would be the Ingram pick to the Giants. I definitely like the player, but I like him as a wide receiver. With Njoku on the board, I'm just like, there's no way I'm going tight end anywhere else,
right?
But to that kid, like, it's no way possible. You know what I'm saying? I will say another pick that did surprise me. I know he gained steam a lot later on in the draft, but I still have my doubts of Christian McCaffrey being a top 10 player, top 10 pick in the draft. I'm sorry. Like, I don't think he's a better back than Dalvin Cook. People can sell you on the versatility of him, and they tell you he can catch balls out of the backfield and everything else. Pause. But at the same time,
Dalvin Cook could do that as well.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook, right? Dalvin Cook definitely can do that. So that's why I'm saying, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't really. He gonna have to. He got a lot of pressure on him. To me, I think he has a lot of pressure on him, unless they give him privilege.
Yeah.
But I think, I really thought that he would be a back end of the first round guy. Again, like I said, he definitely does. He can do it all, but I need to see it at the next level. And I just honestly, I didn't really see him as a top 10 guy, man. I just think that Panthers could have went Hooker. They could have actually got O.J. Howard. But yeah. So all right, biggest surprise right there. Who's the biggest steal in the draft of you?
In the draft, probably like you said, man, Carl Lawson. To get him that late in the draft for what he can do and put pressure on the quarterback, that's a steal for Cincy, man. Like that kid's gonna be a beast. And with Marvin, with Marvin overseeing. Well, I don't know how long Marvin gonna be there, but but he keeps getting by, man. He make the playoffs again. I mean, he got 9 lives, man. But I think that's gonna be a major move for them.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I like Lawson, but I'm actually go to the guy that went at the back of the first round. I think Reuben Foster is going to be the biggest steal of the draft. I think he's going to be the biggest steal of the draft because you and I both talked about top 5 player, definitely top 5, top 10-ish, easily top 10, but could be top 5 player in the draft. And to get him there, I think that you're going to get a motivated guy, because I think the adversity that he's faced is going to help shape him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too many examples in the league now. You got your Randy Gregory's of the world and all these other guys that just can't get right and blow the opportunity. I really think Foster is going to learn from it. The kid is a stud on the field, man, all over the place, man. Just really a crazy playmaker. I think that he's going to be the biggest steal in the draft. I do like Lawson though up there, but I definitely think Reuben Foster is going to be the biggest steal of this draft, man. I think that this is a guy that you're going to see make 7 to 10 Pro Bowls in his career as long as he stays healthy. He's going to be an animal, man. Like, he plays violent. I mean, it got literally like people speak of him in the same breath of Ray Lewis. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of guy he is, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing him, man, on the field, man. I really am. And I think that he's going to work hard, man. So I think he's going to be the biggest steal. Who took the biggest fall to you?
What, player-wise?
Yeah.
Probably, I would say Kaiser, because I thought he would go in the first. I thought, to me, he was right behind Watson. So I thought he would be one of the quarterbacks to go, like, when the team moved up.
Okay.
So I think, I mean, it's not a big fall, but, you know, I think he was, like, I thought he would go in the first round, like, when Kansas City moved up, I thought it would be like for him, or when Houston moved up, you know. So, yeah, I think he took a little dive than what I thought he would go.
Okay, that's definitely reasonable. That's definitely reasonable. That's definitely reasonable. I would say I definitely think Carl Lawson. I think Lawson took the biggest fall. A guy who I really thought more than likely was going to go. Second round. I thought he was going to go second round for sure. Because I mean, he plays a position of need. You know, now I mean, teams may have not liked his medicals, but it's one of those guys where you just like, yo, how did this guy really get there? Caleb Brantley, of course, for obvious reasons, went in the 6th round, which was definitely a first round talent. You know what I mean? I also think, man, on the flip side, I think that a shocking fall, I would definitely say between Hooker and actually O.J. Howard. To really go where they went. I mean, we actually didn't even shout out the Buccaneers, but yeah, like you said, we could definitely be here all day talking about the teams that had decent drafts or, you know, quality draft players and you know, that pick good players at good positions. But yeah, O.J. Howard, I think, you know, for I mean, I think we both was on one accord saying he was a top 10 player in this draft.
Oh, yeah.
Like, legitimately.
Yeah.
And I think for him to have slid down there to Tampa where he went,
perfect spot.
I was just like, yo, I can't believe these other teams are just passing on this dude. Like, like so seriously, I mean, because, you know, you look at a guy like Gronkowski, you know, and just how much of a game changer he is and how much of a nightmare, a matchup nightmare he is. Howard gives you that same kind of matchup nightmare. A guy that's 6'6", that's tough, strong, built like an action figure, and can do everything. So it's like, you know, and not even beat up as most Alabama players come out of college. So you know, like, yo, I really was like, yo, I can't believe he really dropped where he dropped to. So
Desmond King too, man. Desmond King, absolutely. Coming into the year, he was supposed to be the top corner, and you know, he went to the Senior Bowl, was supposedly getting burnt left and right, you know, from reports and all that. So
the draft process happened to him.
Yeah, it's
players but just like you said, bro. But it's players like him that draft process somehow, and I think that guys like Prescott and other players that we've seen throughout the years, even Kaiser, like you brought up Kaiser, like he was another one. People was mocking him for top 10 pick. You know what I'm saying? Then kind of like, you know, couple games. And they don't consider all the other circumstances that surrounds the player. Like, you know, the team could have regressed. You know what I'm saying? Other guys go down and it hurts and impacts the defense. Then all of a sudden you see guys that literally have that skill, that talent, and that draft process happens where some guys pop out of nowhere. Some guy out of Saginaw State University pops up in the Senior Bowl and he gets buzzed. And then some guy like King, who has been over the last few years just consistent and, you know, mentioned among some of the best at his position, all of a sudden dude get picked in the 5th round. You're right. You're absolutely right. So, yeah. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, man, we talked about top some of the most impressive teams, some of the teams that really didn't impress us. We also talked about the surprises in the draft, steals, biggest fall. Now we want to talk about the Cowboys, talk about the Eagles. Well, then again, do you want to talk about the other NFC East team, the Washington Redskins?
I think they had a real good draft, man. Jonathan Allen, I don't know. Like, we don't get the information that the teams get on the medicals and all that. So, but just on talent alone, you could say he was the second best player, in the draft. I had him as the top 5 player in the draft, but stories about his shoulders come up. We got arthritis in both shoulders or whatever it is, so scared teams away. But him, I think that's a solid pick. If you can get 3 to 4 great years out of him, that's a good pick. Fabian Monroe, corner from UCLA, got the pec injury, but he was supposed to go, late first, early second, supposedly.
Yeah, definitely had that kind of talent.
P. Ryan, a running back, bowling ball. That was a big move for them.
What about Ryan Anderson?
Ryan Anderson too. Yeah, this. I guess it's like I seen a report today, like teams about the Bama players, teams being scared about them being worn out by the time they get to the league because whatever they play through all them injuries, Saban make them play. And by the time they get to NFL, they all messed up. So, but no, I think he's another good football player, man. You just don't. You can't have enough of them guys, but I think the Skins did a really good job.
Okay.
I mean, even though they fired that whole fiasco with them firing the general manager and all that crazy crap they got going on, but they supposedly took his board and just
still work with it.
Yeah. So we'll see what they do next year. But no, this year they definitely
shout out to him, man. Shout out to him, man, for putting that board together, man. Setting that draft up, man.
Yeah, I mean that organization. It's always something with them. But no, they had a real good draft in my opinion, man.
Listen, man, I actually think they did well too. I think Ryan Anderson definitely filled the void though, because Trent Murphy isn't he suspended first few games or something like that, man? Not to mention Gillette.
Keep getting hurt.
Yeah, hurt and catching cases and all kinds of nonsense. So they needed that outside rusher over there anyway. Jonathan Allen, definitely great pick, man. Like you said, if he can give you 4 to 5 years, you know what I'm saying, of like great quality play, which I think also, man, I think he could be one of those guys, man, that really surpassed what teams' expectations was. Because I remember Jay Ajayi a few years ago, folks was like, oh, he has this knee condition, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, you see the guy running for 3 200-yard games last year. So and he went to like the 6th round or something. So, I definitely think Jonathan Allen, man, is going to come who took a crazy drop too. We definitely didn't mention him, but I think for him to take that drop, like you said, definitely potentially top 5 player in that draft. And it's troubling because again, like you didn't really hear rumors of him dropping either, before.
No, you didn't.
So I'm not sure if the medicals are just that bad or if other teams saw other players dropping because other teams was jumping up to get quarterbacks. Like nobody knew Kansas City was just going to move up and then Pat Mahomes go in the first, go in the 10th at the 10th pick like that. Which I mean, I like Mahomes too, so I definitely think he's going to pan out to be a good quarterback. But it drops another player down. So then teams are like, wow, this guy's really here. The next thing you know, you got a guy like Jonathan Allen that goes overlooked. So yeah, I definitely like Moreau. I like the pick. I like the pick of him too. I definitely think that. He's going to come back. I don't think his injury was that severe to the point where they were able to steal him in the 3rd round. That was just excellent value. P. Ryan, like you said, definitely not going to do a whole bunch of other stuff, but definitely a north and south runner. Going to be a tough back in that NFC East, man. I definitely think they've improved the running back position for sure. I didn't like the pick of Nicholson from Michigan State. No, didn't like him at all. Didn't really think that. Thought there was much better safeties on the board, especially Xavier Rhodes. But when they took him, I just was uninspired by it. But yeah, but overall though, I did like Washington's draft. So yeah, but so we both didn't really like the Giants draft too much. I thought the Giants had a great draft the year before though. I liked the Giants draft the year before with Eli Apple and Thompson, the safety. A couple other guys they drafted, but This year, I was just kind of didn't really like it too much.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's move on to your Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, man. I really, a lot of people upset or not wowed by it. Man, I love what we did. You know what I'm saying? Because starting our first pick, Derek Barnett, I was a huge fan of his way before, draft night. I was documented saying, oh, man, this dude's a stud. We could put him on the line. And so when we made that pick, even with, Hooker and Allen on the board, I was still happy, because with Hooker, there's some questions about his tackling. And what we do, our safeties, you got to be a sure tackler. So maybe that wouldn't have been the best fit, for Hooker. While he's a great player, but having him in the open field maybe made it scared, Howie and Joe Douglas off or whatever. Allen, like I said, the shoulders, like I said, maybe they seen something they ain't like. But if you got players rated similarly, on your board, you go with the thing with the less questions. And I think I really, really think he's going to be a great player, man. Like, I really believe it. They say about athleticism, he's not an athlete or whatever, but I seen him cover Josh Reynolds in the slot 20 yards down the field and covered him all the way 20 yards down the field and forced an incomplete pass. Like, he is similar to me, what they were saying. People won't think I'm crazy, but what they were saying about Joey Bosa last year. Oh, he's not an athlete. He's not going to do this and that, what he did in college. He won with his hands, and he can bend around the corner. Like, what he won in college, he's going to be able to win sometimes in NFL. You know what I'm saying? And he plays nonstop. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, he's not like he said himself, I'm not a Olympic star, I'm a football player. And I think people are going to see that, once he hits the field, man. Like, dude is going to be, he's going to be a good player for us. On to the second round, Sidney Jones. I love that pick also. I was on record saying he was the best corner in the draft. So this is not oh, man, you being an Eagles homer, da-da-da. Nah, I'm on record saying this before that. Sidney Jones, like me personally, I wouldn't play him this year, let him recover, get fully healed. I wouldn't rush him or none of that, then risk anything. Let him sit out, rehab, come back next year, and you got a number one corner on your defense. But, yeah, I love that pick. Like, reportedly we was supposed to want Dalvin Cook, but, Minnesota jumped us and took him. So, I mean, that would have been a great pick as well. But it's to find a number one quarterback at 43, like how we said, we basically, if he don't play this year, you trading a second-round pick for a first-round pick next year, if you think about it like that. And I'll do that all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? So, but to get him, and like I said, I would just sit him out all year, rest him, let him rehab, come back next year, and then take over the starting spot next year.
So I asked you before the show, and I just wanted to be clear with the fans out here. So you definitely thought it was the better move to take Sidney Jones, even with the injury, over Quincy Wilson?
Yeah, because like I said, the draft is also about the best long-term view. Mm-hmm. And I think, like I said, to me, like I said, he was the best corner in the draft. Mm-hmm. So long-term, for the next 10 whatever years, I'm going to take Sidney Jones over Quincy Wilson. Maybe not be the best thing for the team this year.
Okay.
But going forward, like I said, when he come back healthy in 2018, yeah, I'm taking Sidney Jones all day. And I like Quincy Wilson. I thought he was one of the top corners in the draft, but I'm taking Sidney Jones over him, a healthy Sidney Jones.
Yeah, I wouldn't even. I mean,
I get
that's
what
definitely.
You're saying.
Yeah, I definitely think. I definitely think that. I feel like Sidney Jones definitely was a hair or so over Quincy Wilson, and definitely probably projects to be the better corner. But just always worth considering.
Oh yeah, it probably was considered. By the time they had a little bit of time before we picked, they probably was talking and going over things before the final selection was made. But they said they went over with their doctors. Their doctors feel he's going to come back, 100%. They don't see it being lingering. And, with medicine nowadays anyway, like injuries are, oh, he's injured. All right, you send him out, he'll be back next year. The way sports medicine is now, it's crazy. But, yeah, I absolutely love that pick, man. Like, he can like him coming back healthy will make this draft A++. Like if he come back healthy and be the player we think he can be.
Well, yeah, especially with getting a guy that, you know, when he was healthy before the injury, Eagles fans were hopeful that they could get him at 14.
Yeah, he would not have been there maybe.
So when you you know you
Right.
you get something like that and you get a chance like that, man. I mean, I say it from experience because the Cowboys are watching Jalen Smith now, killing his workouts, being able to go ahead and you know, come to the rookie mini camps, which they planned for him to be a full participant. He's participating in all the off-season workouts. So when they took him and said, "Yo, we based off our doctor's information, we believe that he's definitely going to be back healthy," and they're watching this dude come back and do everything that they said he was going to do.
Gotta trust them doctors, man.
Hey,
Like,
man, yeah, absolutely. You gotta go with the info of your docs. So,
yeah.
I agree with you though, bro. But go ahead.
On to the third round, you know, we got Rasul Douglas, you know, playmaking cornerback, big 6'2", 209 pounds. Like that pick as well, you know. Like my concern with him is if they can get him, like he played a lot of off coverage at West Virginia. So, you know, if the D-backs Coach Unlin can get him to work on his press man skills, we may have another potential still there because he could already play the ball. But if you can work with him in his press, because he has long arms and everything, he got everything you want in the press corner. He just really didn't do it much in college. So if they get that straight, you can have another solid, good cornerback to go along with Sidney Jones and Jalen Mills in that secondary. So I absolutely like that pick as well. On to the fourth round, we took Mac Hollins, North Carolina, you know, 6'4", 220, big fast guy, special teams demon. You know, he's going to help us on special teams immediately, but he also could provide you something if we can work with him and build him into a better receiver. He could also give you maybe something else there as well. I'm not really, you know, counting on that this year, but maybe like 2-3 years down the line, if they work with him, get his route running refined and all that, you know, you can have something there as well. But he's going to help you on special teams immediately. So that's a solid pick as well. Second, fourth round pick, we moved up to get Donnell Pumphrey, you know, running back, San Diego State. Like that pick as well. You know, he's a playmaker. Like, you know, everybody was saying, you know, Christian McCaffrey, you know, he does some of the similar things to Christian McCaffrey. Not as big. I'm not saying he is Christian McCaffrey, but he brings stuff to that offense like Christian McCaffrey would, you know. So I think he's going to have his little, you know, his 5 to 10 plays a game that Doug can get creative with him, you know, use him as a mismatch weapon. I think he's going to help Carson Wentz a lot. You know, like I don't think he's going to be every down running back, but as a playmaker, I think he's going to really help this offense. You know, the little screen passes, and they also may line him up in the slot every now and then. So he's definitely a good ball player, man. But I like that pick as well.
I mean, what does Sproles do? Is Sproles gone? Like, what's
happening? Oh, no. Well, Sproles on record saying this is going to be his last year. So you got somebody that's going to, you know, still be here this year and can learn from Sproles and then eventually take over that role that Sproles has right now. But yeah, Sproles said this was his last year, he was saying.
I mean, so my question to you, though, would be, like, who's really the guy running back, though? Because I definitely saw, you know, Gallman was still on the board. And I know, like, you were saying you wasn't that high on Gallman, but I believe, I running style-wise, to me, he ran a lot like DeMarco Murray, which to Eagles fans may not mean much. But, I mean, DeMarco still went to Tennessee and did his thing. But I do think, you know, around the rounds that he was available, I think it was like, me personally, I think it was better value. I get Pumphrey being a gadget type of guy that the Eagles probably was looking for. But at the same time, it's just like who becomes that guy to give them a real solid running offense? Because you know, it helps. Nothing helps a young quarterback out like a defense and also, you know what I mean, a solid running game. So
yeah, right. But I think the question is, like, do Doug really want that? Because you look, I mean, there's like a pattern, you know, let DeMarco Murray go. You know, last year, I thought we was in on Zeke, but, you know, Adam Kaplan said that we really wasn't in on Zeke. This year, you know, you had a chance to move up for Cook. We don't. Could have picked other running backs. You pass on them. So I think it's a question, like, do Doug really value one lead running back, or do he want a bunch of guys that could just have running back by committee? That's what they did in Kansas City when he was there. You know, they had Spencer Ware and Jadarick West and all that. So they have do a committee thing. So I think does he value a traditional 3-down running back, and also supposedly they're hiring Wendell Smallwood, so hey, maybe, like I said, you got then in undrafted free agency we added Corey Clement from Wisconsin, big running back. So maybe you run with those four and just have a committee thing going. But I think that's definitely a question, like, do Doug really want a lead running back, or do he just want to go with the committee thing and just have mismatches everywhere? But like I said, because it was some other running backs on the board, but they chose not to. They passed over a couple running backs multiple times. So
yeah,
I think that's a legitimate question. Like, do he really value, a stud or just one guy being your main horse? So, but
it's
yeah, like
something to be on the lookout for.
Yeah,
see if it backfires. You know what I'm saying? See how it works out.
Yeah, whatever.
Right.
But on to the 5th round. We took Shelton Gibson. Mm-hmm. I was a really big fan of that pick.
I like that pick too as well.
I think he's going to be what we signed Torrey Smith to be this year. I think he's going to eventually take that role.
Mid-season, because Torrey Smith stinks, man. I done told you this 150 times, man. But you're gonna learn by about week 6, and the Eagles fans gonna be like, "Good thing we took Gibson," and I'm gonna just bring back up my tweets, man, from like 2 years ago when I was telling people Torrey Smith is no good, man.
Hey,
but yeah,
I think he, like I said, I think he's gonna be, like I said, what they want Torrey to be this year. I think he's gonna grow into that role. Learn the offense, refine his route some more. Because, like I said, it was a report that they gave Wentz a list of receivers to work out with this offseason, and he was one of the receivers supposedly on that list. So they kind of got a little connect. Matt Collins as well. He worked out with Carson Wentz as well too. So I think that's what they're doing, trying to develop their own receivers, refine the position. Get rid of what we had before and just build it to what they think should be. But I really like that Gibson pick, man. Dude can fly. Like a poor man's Deshaun Jackson. Could just, run, track the ball in the air well, solid hands on the deep pass. Like I said, needs some work on his, route running, but majority of college receivers do nowadays. But yeah, I really, really, really think he's going to be one of the good picks out of this draft, man. He's going to contribute.
So with that being said, I got a question for your analysis, man, just for the picks. So with that being said, where does that leave the Eagles wide receiver core at? I mean, y'all got about like 12 wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like you got DGB, who I know is not there on any kind of real contract or real money.
Right.
But then you got Aguilar. Then you got Jordan Matthews. Mm-hmm. Then you got whoever else. But like what like how do you foresee all of this playing out? Because I mean they invested kind of somewhat earlier draft picks on these 2 wide receivers of theirs. And I know you're saying one guy's really like the special teams ace and potentially can develop into a potential starter or, top 3 kind of rotational guy, wide receiver. And then you like the Gibson pick. I mean, I know Eagles fans are hoping that, Alshon works out with this 1-year situation, in which I don't really see why it wouldn't, because I think Alshon can play for sure. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's still a 1-year situation. So if it doesn't, for whatever reason, you know what I mean? Like they'll be back at the drawing board as far as what are they doing wide receivers. So how do you see this all playing out?
Well, I think we're going to keep 6 receivers. I think DGB is gone. I think we're going to rock with Alshon Torrey, Jordan Matthews, Hollins, Gibson, and Aguilar just because, the financial reasons. And I guess they want to see if he got one more, with no pressure on him. With Alshon being here, he's not going to be the number 1 guy. Maybe he can the light click on, but I don't see it with Aguilar. But like I said, financially, he's going to be here because it will cost more to cut him than to keep him. So I think we go with 6 wide receivers this year, and I think DGB is gone. But I think they really do want to get a whole bunch of new talent in the wide receiving core. But Jordan Matthews on his last year of his deal. No offer of extension yet, so I don't know what they see with him. I don't know if he's going to be, gone, trade bait or what. But I think Hollins and Gibson definitely make the 53 though. Like I think their DGB is gone.
Yeah, I think,
my prediction.
Because I'm gonna say this, I really find Jordan Matthews is quite the enigma to me. I think that I know he's like majority the slot guy there, but it's like. does the Eagles desire to probably go to a more shorter, quicker guy in the slot, and potentially look for Hollins to develop as more so as a later like outside guy? Because I mean, again, even if they think he's just a special team, I still believe that they probably see more in him than just being special teams ace to take him there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Harry Roseman was saying,
or even put Gibson on the outside.
We
to just
thought
be
Hollins
the
would
deep
be.
guy.
We thought Hollins would be a second round pick if it wasn't for the injury, and he was saying that. So
okay,
and also so I think they really think he can be something, but later down the line because he didn't play much in North Carolina. He played like 50% of the snaps his years there. So I think they think they can work and grow him into something.
So do you potentially see Gibson probably being that slot dude?
No, I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be
outside burner.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be outside. Opposite next to Alshon. But the thing with Jordan Matthews, like when you have an overhaul coaching staff, new staff come in,
right,
and it's just like that's not his guy. It's not a knock on Jordan because I think he's a good receiver, a productive receiver.
A la Michael Kendrick's situation.
Right, good player, but coaching changes.
What happens to him, man? Because Michael Kendrick,
Michael
Kendricks is the Jaleel Okafor of the Eagles.
Yeah,
like he was supposed to have been traded like 2 years ago.
I would, if you can't find nothing for him, just keep him. There's nothing wrong with having a, quality backup. You know what I'm saying? Like he may not want it, but I mean, what do
you call Cincinnati? Tell them give you Jeremy Hill for.
I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's possible. I would do that as well. But I just wouldn't let him go for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you
don't want to Eric Rowe him.
Yeah, like just you know what I mean. So it's a strange situation. But like I said, change coaching staffs and some good players just don't fit what the new coach want. But
who's your next guy, bro?
Yeah, okay. Next pick, fifth round. I'm sorry. Nathan Gary, safety, but they said they're gonna move him to linebacker from Nebraska. That's probably the only.
Is that Kendrick's replacement?
I mean, possible, but I don't think you can bank on that. Him, especially changing his position. Trying to get, and they say he's another special teams player as well. So I don't see him as a threat to get Kendricks yet. But I don't see. That's the only pick I was like, But they've been watching this guy and they think he can make the transition, put on another 15 pounds, and be a linebacker in this defense. So we'll see. I don't know. Didn't have much thought on it, but when I heard the name, I was like, So we'll see about him. But like I said, a good special teams player. They say you can never. That's an important part of the game. Too, people overlook that all the time. So special teams is a big part here. What we do, they win us a lot of games around here. But yeah, we'll see how that turn out. If he can make that transition because it's not easy. But on to the sixth round, our final pick, Elijah Qualls, defensive tackle from Washington. Really a big fan of that pick as well because it was similar to when we got Bo Allen a couple years ago in the seventh round. Big stout guy against the run, but he's actually athletic as well. He moved around that front in Washington a couple times, rushed from the 3-tech outside, played outside linebacker a couple snaps as well too. So, but especially with the Bo Allen injury, like it's getting more reinforcements for that defensive line for Jim Schwartz. You can never go wrong with that. But really like that pick as well. Like all our picks, like I said, it was a solid draft for me. I was excited about it. A lot of people didn't like it, but outside of the Gary pick, I like them all for real because they all serve a purpose on this team, and majority of them, basically all of them, should make the team and make some contributions this year, in my opinion. So I really think we did well this year in the draft.
So, the Qualls, you gotta give him. You gotta get the Eagles a good pick for him because I saw like a YouTube video, a dude like doing a backflip.
Oh, he's really athletic, man.
A standing backflip. He's like 300 pounds and just did a standing backflip.
Yeah, get him in the sixth round.
So yeah, man, you gotta get him props. You gotta give him props just for picking dude because he's 310 pounds and can do a standing backflip, man. I can barely do a cartwheel, man, and I'm like 175. So. But so shout out to them. Like what's the overall grade, man? How do you grade the draft?
Me personally, like I said,
honest Jeff.
No, seriously.
All right.
A minus, man.
A minus.
Because like I said, what you did with Barnett, and I'm on record. I text you. It was about January. Mm-hmm. Barnett, man, he a beast. So it's not like, Eagles picked him.
Listen, y'all. Yeah. The one thing about me and Jeff, man, honestly, like you could probably search our tweets too as well. Mm-hmm. Like when we really say that, like we was behind some of these people, and like Jeff would do it to me, and he know I definitely do the same back to him. But like we'll send each other like a screenshot and be like, yo, you remember? No, but this thing what you said, So like we'll really grind each other up. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that we don't take lightly. Like we hold each other to what we say. Because that's just how I go down. So A-, man, that's
I think you get production from every pick in this draft. Not a lot of. I think, like I said, everyone is going to do something for this team next year, some type of role, and a lot of teams can't say that about all of their draft picks. So. But, yeah, man, I really, really, really love what we did. Starting with Barnett to Sidney Jones, Douglas, Gibson, Hollins, Pumphrey. I think we had an all-around solid draft. Got a bunch of solid football players, man, and that's all you can ask for in the draft.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. So, listen, man, on to my Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, I think we out of time.
Listen, man, this what everybody been really waiting for. You know what I'm saying? Like, they heard you out, man, about y'all going from the dumpster to potentially the bathroom trash. You know what I'm saying? So so on to these Dallas Cowboys, y'all. Check it out, man. First pick, man, Taco Charlton. I definitely like the pick. I honestly didn't think he was going to be there because I was hearing hype for him to go as high as Cincinnati in the draft. Cowboys Nation went crazy like they always do to everything else, man. And I'm going to be honest, like this is something that I'm going to say publicly, man, and I'm sad to say this thing, man, because the Eagles fan base is one of the worst in America. But they blamed us for they blamed the Cowboys fans for being part of the worst as well. And I'm actually starting to believe them. Like I'm really starting to believe them, y'all. I mean, honestly, like we sit here and we cry about the most outlandish, stupid stuff in the world. Like Cowboys fans, like it's quite a few of us that are actually well informed and talk with some sense. It's definitely a nice amount of us. Just like you have some Eagles fans too who are as well. But then it's getting like this is why this is troll free sports, because there's too many trolls out here now. Like the Eagles and Cowboys fans right now are trolling each other at like an all time high to where people are just saying the dumbest stuff, man. Like so people are saying anything. I mean, you'll see somebody like Wentz's mom looks better than Dak's mom though, and it just be like dumb stuff. Like we're getting ridiculous to the point where last year it started to show really when I started seeing the Cowboys fans get divided while over the quarterback situation when one guy was broken up and sitting on the bench and couldn't even play while the other guys winning 10 games straight and they just scrutinizing second quarter throws because he missed the guy or two. Meanwhile, he still comes back and wins the game for the Cowboys, and then people are still trying to bring up, Tony may come back and he should get his job. I mean, come on, y'all. Like, so Taco Charlton gets picked, mind you, just all across the board, man. Many mock drafts, he's there being picked by a team in the first round. Cowboys are picking 28th in the draft. This guy's 6'6", 280 pounds. You have fools on there talking about he wasn't athletic. When you check his 10-yard splits, his 20-yard shuttles, his times beat some other guys who, from previous years, who was 25 pounds lighter. Mind you, the guy's doing this on a bad ankle at the moment, you know what I'm saying, while he was working out. Now, again, 10 sacks, 9.5, 10 sacks his senior year at Michigan, big-time program, you know what I mean? Not to mention, the guy's really, really quick off the line, man. I really think that it was a good pick, especially for a need pick. Dallas definitely needed, and I said it last on our draft episode. I had Takars McKinley. That was my guy. Tak was my guy. Don't get it confused. I wanted Tak McKinley, and I told you, I said I love the depth at cornerback, and I got quite a few guys ranked as first-round corners, so I would definitely take pass rusher before I go corner in the first round. So that's where I was. So to get Taco there, and I said it on our first show. And people, this is the great thing about it. Like, you can go back to our previous episode. I said I had my doubts on T.J. Watt playing 4-3. I was like, yo, the guy played tight end, played on offense, and then played 1 year as a pass rusher. He's athletic and everything else, but I don't trust him with his hand to the ground a lot because that's something. And even Stephen Jones said it. Stephen Jones said, when we got to add a projection, it kind of discounts a player because you just don't. You don't really know. It's the unknown there. So you put his hand on the ground, and then next thing you know, what if he just crumbles as a player, and then you looking stupid for taking the guy? So Taco Charlton, man, very, very solid player. I'm not saying he's a 15 sack type
not
of player,
flashy guy,
but yeah, not a flashy
player,
guy. Right,
you know,
very solid guy. I think
run.
he's definitely one of the more talented players right now on that defensive line. I think that you got him, you got David Irving, two tall, lengthy guys who are athletic enough to definitely beat guys. David Irving's a freak athletically, but Taco definitely gifted player. So I definitely think the first round pick was good. Only other first rounder I probably would have considered, honestly, was really probably Kevin King at the time. And I actually like our second round pick as a first round guy too, who was actually invited to the first day of the draft because people thought he was a first round pick, which would take me right into that.
So about, does Taco come in and start right away, or is he?
I think Taco comes to start right away because the problem is here, honestly, many Cowboys fans are still hopeful, but I don't really think DeMarcus Lawrence care enough about football. You know, recent pictures, man, dude is overweight. You know what I mean? Just like his injuries, certain injuries, man, it's just not boding well for him. So I know Dallas recently, or allegedly, through a report I saw, that they really want to try to play him on that blind side and have him rushing the QB, which I think he definitely can play. But I think with Charles Tapper coming back, who I was high on last year's draft, I think with him coming back, I think him and Taco literally could potentially be the starters. But I like David Irving too, so I think David Irving definitely gonna have his hand in it. But I also see David Irving being a guy that definitely will occasionally rotate himself and play from the inside and rush passes on third down.
Okay.
So I think Taco definitely I think he definitely ends up being a starter this year. So definitely, to me, I like the pick. Very decent player. That late in the draft, mind you, we're picking late first, which is essentially an early second round pick when you're at that end of the draft. Wasn't really no other guys you could actually reach for. You know, I think Dallas definitely had the possibility of drafting Joku though too as well at tight end. But I mean, again, you need a guy that you can put on that front four and definitely just go to war. And I think Taco Charlton was a good pick. Second round, Chidobe, a.k.a. Cheeto. Awuzie, love the pick. Love the pick. First round talent again. Like I said, cornerback. And I think it worked out perfectly well for them, you know, to go defensive end, then corner. This guy can be a day one starter for sure, which I believe he will be because I can't stand Nolan Carroll. I'm not sold on Nolan Carroll at all. I've been consistent with that. People can go ahead with that. And I think the Cowboys proved that, you know, again, he's more of, you know, a rotational guy. One thing that I do think, though, is great what the Cowboys did, and I'll get into it when I break down the third round pick. But Awuzie, man, again, seriously, definitely was one of the best corners in this draft. To get him at where they got him at, definitely can play the outside, inside, and play safety at Colorado. I mean, dude is literally. And he makes plays out there. I'm talking about, like, you know, he can even blitz and rush the passer. Like, I mean, you watch tape, it wasn't nothing that he couldn't do in the secondary. So it really gives them versatility and talent in a guy that will go after the ball and play physical, man. So I really like that pick, man, in the second round. And it was definitely a few guys Dallas definitely could have thought about too. But I definitely like Awuzie for sure, man, in the second round. So shout out to them for that pick. Jeff, you look like you ready to ask me something.
Yeah, I just, like, you know, you say all these things about he can do this and that, but is Marinelli going to do that? You know, that's he known for just
kind of playing guys where they playing.
So is he going to get the most out of him? You know.
Well, I think I think they're going to play him at outside corner. I think that,
okay.
and I don't think that they really need to move him around too much, especially based off the guys they drafted. Like, they don't really have to move him around too much.
Okay.
I definitely think he's an outside corner. Definitely good size, man. 6 feet guy, about 206, 207. Solid build. Really plays like he's, you know, aggressive. Has good speed. And I think that he's definitely going to be a day one starter from the outside. Right. So I definitely don't think that they're going to need to move him around too much, to be honest with you. But one thing Marinelli has proven to do is he will blitz corners, and that's what he did with a lot with Orlando Scandrick. So I definitely think that Awuzie starts day one, man, from the outside, man. So, man, shout out to the Cowboys because that was definitely a major pickup. Third rounder, Jordan Lewis. Loved the pick. Again, definitely loved it. Many people loved it as well, man, just across the board, not even just Cowboys fans. And I think that the great thing with day two was fans went from panicking, talking about they wanted T.J. Watt, and which kills me because Cowboys fans, we got a lot of improvement, man, as far as the fan base concerned. Because y'all got to stop following the same 5 bloggers and running with their narratives and running with whoever they fall in love with, because that's what people did. TJ Watt, folks was just running with this athleticism crap and everything else and talking about what kind of athletes they want and everything else, and they don't watch the tape or they don't watch film on these guys or think about what the team sees or how the team sees the fit. And they kept acting like all of a sudden Will McClay and these guys don't know what they're doing. So day 2 comes and the Cowboys nail it by grabbing 2 corners, man, that literally can start from day 1. And I know you was high on Jordan Lewis because you texted me about it.
And I had him in my
and you had
previous episode.
Yeah, you had him in your previous episode, right?
Good player, man. Player.
So that Jordan Lewis, guy that played outside, can play the inside, and I think that he's going to be perfect guy to play inside, man. Very quick guy. He's more quick than he is fast, and for the size that he gives up, he's a guy that plays physical, man, just really, really sound football player and will make plays on the ball. Made one of the greatest interceptions that you probably could see in life, at Michigan. But I think that, man, the dude really can do it all. And I think that in today's NFL where you're facing more of these quick inside slot guys, you can definitely plug him right in there. I really think, man, it's interesting because you want to see guys like Scandrick and even Nolan Carroll. I honestly think it's scary because Scandrick really may possibly be the odd man out because they just gave Carroll this 3-year deal, probably, which is more essentially like a 1 or 2 year deal. They can walk away with from it next to nothing. But, it definitely puts you in the mindset of what's going to happen. But what I meant by versatility is you even got a guy like Carroll who gives you size where you can put out there and sometimes even line him up to play against some bigger guys or bigger wide receivers while you still have other corners, and he doesn't necessarily have to go after the first guy, which is what I meant by the versatility. But again, Jordan Lewis, the Cowboys killed that pickup as well. So when you looked at the Cowboys' needs and you talk about they need help up front, you talk about, Brandon Carr's going, Morris Claiborne is going. I think they just brought in more talented guys. When Mo first came in the league, his ceiling was crazy, but then, of course, you learned over time he can't get out of his own way with the injuries, and he really wasn't the turnover machine that he looked like in LSU, So Brandon Carr, another guy, he was just always around, but never really made the play. Right. Kind of sort of like Sheldon Brown at times. Like, you just be like, he's overmatched. Like, he finds his way. He's around the ball, but, he just can't get there to make the play. These are guys that literally attacks the football. Right. So, I definitely think, man, they instantly upgraded the secondary there with those 2 guys. Round 4, Ryan Switzer. I'll be honest with you. From the jump, when they took him, it's not the player that I didn't like, but my 3rd round pickup for us in the previous draft was Xavier Woods. So round 4, I'm sitting here saying to myself, Woods got to be the guy. And I'm like, they need to take Xavier Woods. They got to take Xavier Woods. And they went with Ryan Switzer. And again, I like the player. And then after thinking about it a little later on and realizing what the team is doing, I like the pickup. For one, the guy has elite return skills. Hands down, probably the best returner in college at the coming out of the draft. Not to mention the guy's a Cole Beasley clone. The guy is 5'8", about 190 pounds, and literally strong as ever. They showed him lifting 350 pounds. And I mean, he's an animal. His attitude on the field, mind you, he was the horse for North Carolina. You just look at his stats, look at his production at the wide receiver position. The guy comes to play ball. I'll sit here and tell you this. Also, you have to keep in mind that I believe the Cowboys is really building and tailoring this offense to really fit Dak Prescott now. They know that this is his team going forward. So you got Cole Beasley underneath, who Dak loved to go to last year, those intermediate routes. And then you add a guy like Ryan Switzer, who is Cole Beasley clone, probably even a little bit tougher after the catch, to be honest with you. But, just he's quick, but I don't think he's Cole Beasley quick. And Cole Beasley's footwork is ridiculous. But you bring those 2 guys out there in a 4 wide receiver set. I don't really care about Terrence Williams because I'm not a big Terrence Williams fan. So Cowboys fans, y'all can keep trying to talk me into it. I'm not sold on Terrence Williams at all. But I do believe with Switzer being out there with Cole Beasley, that's going to be tough as hell to try to stop those guys underneath, period. You know what I'm saying? But again, the return aspect, him being dangerous with the ball in his hands, you get rid of Lucky Whitehead. Lucky Whitehead is good as gone. Wasn't really a fan of him at all last year. I remember when the Cowboys benched him and everybody was sitting there acting like we were going to lose or it was a big deal because he was being benched and all that kind of nonsense. I don't think I don't think Lucky Whitehead returns. I don't really care about that at all. I think Ryan Switzer will end up being a very good pickup for the team. I like where the team is going by tailoring his offense to fit Dak Prescott. And we definitely need him on special teams. But I will say this. When we drafted him, I didn't initially like it because Xavier Woods was still on that board, and I had him going in the third round. Really loved him. Jeff, you look like you wanted to say something to me.
No, just the fit. It seemed like you said he Cole Beasley clone. So, like you said, other than Woods, you think it was somewhere else y'all could have went because there was reports saying that y'all was going to take Pumphrey right there until we jumped a pick in front of y'all and snatched him supposedly. So it's like y'all was down to saying, are we going to pick Pumphrey or? I wouldn't
have liked Pumphrey pick either.
Mm-hmm.
In the fourth round, I mean I like T.J. Logan actually, but I wouldn't have liked the Pumphrey pick not in the fourth round. I honestly was sold on Xavier Woods. I was like, yo, he was my third. He was like late second round talent to me. But I was like third round. I'm hoping we can really get him or he'll be around. Those safeties that went in the second round and people that went before Xavier Woods was just ridiculous to me. But I was like, again, I was sold on Xavier Woods. I wouldn't have liked Pumphrey being a pick. Because I didn't just definitely being a third back behind. I mean, granted, we need a Lance Dunbar type of guy to come back in there that they want to use in a passing game and whatnot. But at the same time, not in the fourth round. I do think, again, you got to think about teams like New England who take on those smaller wide receivers and actually utilize them and use them anyway. So I think that what you'll see, essentially you'll see Switzer coming in there and him and Beasley in those 4 wide receiver sets. Think about this. You go 4 wide out, and you got 2 guys that you're killing underneath. If anything, it kind of obsoletes Jason Witten for real when you think about it. But you free up. First of all, teams can't go 8 in the box when you're spreading 4 out there. So you're running Zeke out of that shotgun. You know what I'm saying? Giving him that draw, he gets to do what he do, take defenders one-on-one, not to mention when you come out and you throw, you got 2 guys underneath that's going to be virtually unguardable because they're just quick. They're quick off the release. Footwork is good. And, again, after the catch. Then you got Des Bryant on the outside. So I do like, and, again, on a return game, Switzer is going to make a difference. So I do like that pick. I do think they got him and they drafted him there to be just like Beasley. I think they want 2 guys out there that's going to, really take up, Romo loved Witten there as that security blanket out there. That was his go-to guy. But I think that Dak Prescott really will prefer those guys to run around like Beasley and work the offense that way. So I do like the Switzer pick. But again, I kind of knocked it because, to me, Xavier Woods definitely should have been a pick, which takes us to round 6 where they got my guy Xavier Woods, man. So, Jeff, I've been high on this dude. I've been talking about him, man. Xavier Woods, I love the Cowboys picks, period, but I think that might have been the best pick they've taken in the draft at that particular point. To get him in the 6th round, couldn't believe he fell that far. 2nd round pick for sure to me. You watch the tape, dude gets turnovers, plays all over the field, man, plays much bigger than his size. I mean, he's about 5'11 and a half, 6 footish, but again, man, all over the place for La Tech last year. Dude is, he's a ball player, hell of a ball player. I think I was just ecstatic because I thought Dallas really might have messed that up by not taking him because I don't like Jeff Heath. So Cowboys faithful fans can get out of here with the Jeff Heath nonsense. I think he's a special teams guy. I think he's a guy you can bring in certain packages, but Jeff Heath is not a starter to me. I think Xavier Woods is going to come in there, certainly take that job, man, and ball out for the Cowboys. I love that pick.
Okay.
Definitely love that pick. Then they took Marquez White out of Florida State. I like the pick. I like the pick as well. Again, they added more and more talent, man, to the secondary. I'm anxious to see what they're going to do with all the corners.
Somebody got to stick.
Yeah, Anthony Brown is there as well. So Anthony Brown, to me, is definitely going to probably emerge himself as a starter as well. Lot of competition. I think you actually keep all these guys. I'm honestly anxious to see what happens to the vets. I'm
I'm always, if it's even, you go with the youth, man. Cause
all day.
It's not like you got Sherman or somebody great there that you owe a lot of respect to. It's like, okay, keep moving. What have you done?
No doubt.
And it's also crazy, man. 3 of these players that I picked in my mock draft for the Eagles: Marquez White, Switzer, and Jordan Lewis, man.
Hey, man, listen, right. So I mean, look, man, definitely.
So I can't even hate on the picks, man.
Yo, but Joey Ivy, man, from Florida, I didn't really like to pick up.
Okay.
I thought at that point, man, they could have went with Byron Cox Jr., the other Florida defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I actually liked him over Joey Ivy. So I wasn't really a big fan of that. Noah Brown, though, wide receiver from the Ohio State University.
Yeah.
Listen, love the pickup, man. The kid,
dude.
definitely gonna develop him, man. Definitely talented, very talented, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Ohio State utilized him the proper way, man. But dude is the beast, man, around that red zone. Definitely very quick player, good speed, very good size, 6'2", 225, built like Des Bryant, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's definitely gonna develop, man. I honestly expect him to probably push a receiver off the roster. You know what I'm saying? I think you could potentially I'm gonna tell you now, Bryce Butler definitely need to be, him and Lucky Whitehead need to be nervous. I'm gonna be honest. I think they need to be a little nervous, man, because they're guys on a 1-year deal. Bryce Butler's on a 1-year deal, and I think that the team could easily part ways with him. Man, he can potentially go ahead and get knocked off that roster, man, by in the training camp.
Okay.
So I love that pickup, 7th round guy too, man. I really think they said Zeke actually was the main guy pushing for him.
Really?
Jerry Jones said Zeke actually was like basically being his agent. Like, y'all got to take him seriously. So I'm with Zeke on that one. And Jordan Carell, man, defensive tackle out of Colorado. I actually liked him better than Joey Ivy. I think that I actually like Jordan Carell better. I think, he has I definitely think that, he has a possibility of making this team, man, being in that defensive tackle rotation. I'm going to tell you right now, with Malik Collins there, and Cedric Thornton, who also has to really step it up this year. But I definitely think that Carell has a chance to be in that defensive tackle rotation. Tyrone Crawford's gone. I'm going to be real. I think Tyrone Crawford is gone.
How many years left he got his deal?
I want to say he has 2 years left. I think this year was just too tough financially for them to part ways. But I mean, with Taco Charlton there, he has no spot at defensive end. You know what I'm saying? I think I don't even like the guy Mayoya, but I mean with David Irving, with Taco Charlton, with Tapper, and even DeMarcus Lawrence, Crawford really doesn't have a spot in the team to me, So I definitely think, but I think Carell's gonna make the team. I think he can definitely be in that rotation, man. It's that third defensive tackle behind Thornton and Malik Collins, man. Malik Collins is gonna have a great year this year. So overall, man, I give the Cowboys an A, man. I give the Cowboys an A, no minus or plus. I just think they got an A, man. I think they really hit it, man. They really nailed this draft. That secondary, man, is definitely improved. Not to mention we were top 5 last year in points allowed. I think the secondary is actually better this year, man. I think that you're going to see Xavier Woods athletically do things Barry Church could not do. Now, the IQ aspect, Woods is definitely going to have to grow into the NFL game as every other safety is going to have to. But just being able to fly around, man, really make plays, man, I think you'll see this secondary be able to do things they couldn't do last year, and that's really like track that ball and make plays on the ball the way the defense should have. Turnover-wise, we weren't good the last 2 years as far as forcing turnovers. But the great thing is we have a quarterback who don't turn the ball over a lot. So that helped us too. But I think this year you'll see a defense out there, man, that's going to force more turnovers. Not to mention you got to throw in the fact that Jalen Smith comes back to this defense and Charles Tapper is added to this defense. Essentially, like Howie Roseman said, for Sidney Jones, if he comes back next year, you add in a first-round pick. So Jalen Smith, who was potentially the best player in the draft last year, comes back healthy. Then you also got Tapper to come back on that defense, man. The Cowboys have truly, to me, nailed and aced another draft, man. Last year it was about the offense. Last year they tremendously helped the offense. Not to mention Malik Collins was a home run pick, and they had Jalen Smith on a redshirt year. But this year, man, they really nailed certain players that they needed to add, man, to the defense, revamp the secondary, man. So I give them an A, man.
Okay.
Great job, Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, once this is right now, this is not saying, this is that. Like, we got to wait to see these players on the field eventually, but
they're projections.
Projections.
This is what we projected, man. Based upon these guys' film that we've watched, based upon what we've seen, and another thing
with the team and everything.
Yeah, and how they fit with the team and everything else. Right. And another thing Dallas did, man, everybody they took was from a big program. These guys all had decent tape. You know what I'm saying? at big schools against bigger competition. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, I'm really looking forward, man, to seeing this team, already a 13-win team last year. It just definitely, like I said, improved in the draft, man. Added some great young pieces, man, to the secondary. And again, got a really good defensive end prospect, man, in Taco Charlton, who I think is definitely going to I think he's going to be a good defensive end, like a career good defensive end. I'm not saying he's a, 12-sack guy and stuff like that a year, but he's going to be a guy that's going to consistently get pressure and maybe even be the guy that creates more opportunities for other players on the defensive line around them, which is just as important.
Right,
so,
absolutely.
So yeah, man, shout out to them, man. So, man, Jeff, what do you think? I think we got about 5 minutes left, man.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be the best player? Well, who do you think? I'll ask you this, because like many people said, like how Zeke ended up in Dallas last year and everything else. Who do you think landed in a perfect situation that's really going to have major impact next year?
Like I said on the first show, John Ross to Cincinnati.
Yo, you called that, man.
You
called that, man.
That is the perfect spot for him, man. He's not going to come in and be the number one guy.
Can Andy Dalton throw it deep though?
I mean, do the AJ, and he
Yeah,
do the AJ at times. They call him the Red Rifle. I think that's his nickname, though. But yeah, like it's gonna be. Then you got Mixon in the backfield, so, yeah, it's going. Feel sorry for the AFC North, man. That's gonna be tough to defend with that. And you got Eifert out there as well, so yeah, I think he's in a perfect spot, man, to have to have a great year, man. Like I really think he is. Yeah, that's a perfect match to me.
Good. Yeah. I think a team that got a perfect match player, and I think that a lot of people kind of are underplaying it, But I think that Pat Mahomes to Kansas City
with Andy
Reid.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid. First of all, he came out of Texas Tech, where a lot of people kind of doubt those quarterbacks because they play that quick read offense where they just throwing that ball short, quick, fast, fast-paced offense where they're not, doing a lot of reading, but it's more reacting and making shorter throws.
Mm-hmm.
But mind you, Mahomes has the arm talent to throw everywhere. He's mobile. I definitely think he's more talented than Alex Smith. So I think that he's definitely going to be able to flourish under Andy Reid in that offense. And with Tyreek Hill and Jeremy Maclin, if he can get his health together, and Kelsey, yeah, I definitely think, man. Listen, Alex Smith, man, probably has 1 year left. Not to mention he gets to sit and watch if that's the case. I mean, he may actually win the job, but I really do think, man, that he went to the perfect situation. I know many people are going to put more pressure on him for what Kansas City had to give up to get him, but I think Mahomes landed in a perfect, ideal situation.
Andy Reid, man, quarterback, man, like coaching is a big part in the NFL. People tend to forget that. So, like, I think it's the perfect marriage, man. The guy with that arm strength and with Andy Reid's coaching, like, let him sit a year, maybe two, but definitely I think he's going to greatly benefit from being there with Andy, man. Yeah, if that's Andy's guy, it's never too much to give up for a quarterback. So you believe that's the man? Hey, go get him.
Absolutely. When you got to do that, you definitely got to do that, man. Well, I'm gonna say this, man, because I know we wrapping it up, man. But I'm gonna say I definitely think I agree with you, man. I think the NFC East teams, man, improved. Probably except the Giants too much, but I mean the Giants still got.
They still got a great defense.
I'm gonna say they got they got a great defense, and they still got a player that's still gonna be a headache. I mean, if they figure out where they want to play him at,
right.
Yeah, I just think that other picks, man, they definitely could have made better pickups to me. But I will say this, man, I think the NFC East is definitely probably making their push to be the best division.
Oh yeah,
I mean, best division possibly in the NFL. Well, one of the best divisions in the NFL, but definitely the best division in the NFC.
You got pretty much you got everything in this division. You got the young quarterbacks with Dak and Wentz. Got a great defense up.
Kirk Cousins
putting up numbers. They was building something. They got Terrell Pryor. Like I think it's
gonna be Terrell Pryor.
Crowder.
And, you know what I'm saying? Dez, Odell,
Alshon. Alshon. It's going to be...
Nobody really wants to play that NFC East, man.
It's going to be fun in the division this year, man. Like, we battled we play the NFC West. We play the AFC West. So, it's gonna be fun in this division this year, man. Like a lot of smack talking, but I think it's gonna be a good year for the division. Like, you know, barring of course injuries.
And it was good. It was good. It was good year last year for the division too.
No, it wasn't, man.
Well, just as an Eagles fan, it wasn't good.
I mean,
but I'm gonna tell you right now. I mean,
both teams lost in the playoffs, man. It wasn't.
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. My Cowboys gonna win the division again. But I will say, you know, I do expect the same thing to happen next year, though. I think that. I'm not saying that the Giants definitely going to be the second team, but it's going to be 2 playoff teams from the NFC East again.
Possibly 3.
Possibly 3. Yeah, possibly 3. But I don't think nobody wants to play that NFC East, man. So definitely looking forward, man, to this season. Definitely can't wait, man, to get back on the next episode. Listen, y'all, we need y'all to go ahead, man, and subscribe, man, like, comment, share it, y'all. Show us crazy love. Get back at us. If y'all want to argue, man, we arguing about the podcast.
Tell us what you ain't like about the Cowboys, what he said about the draft and all that. Just let us know, man.
Yeah, man, because we ain't arguing about nothing else, man. Don't hit us up randomly and start stupid debates, man. Like, let's debate and talk about this podcast.
Be real, be honest, man. No trolling, please.
No trolling, man. Troll free, man. Troll free, man. So, listen, man, I'm out, man, because this is your boy, man, Pastor Carl Day, man. You can follow me on Twitter, Pastor Carl Day, because, you know, that's what I am, Pastor, throughout the day, football junkie at night. And
yeah, man, you know, Jeff, Philly Freck 215, man. You follow me. I'm just a football junkie, man. You know, I talk a little bit about music, but mostly I'm tweeting about football all day, man. And, you know, my wife, she don't, it gets on the nerves sometimes, but, you know, that's what I do, man.
Yeah. Just follow my tweets, because if you watch the tweets and the replies, like I probably be talking to everybody about everything else too. But just watch the tweets, man. But yo, get at me on there, man, and get at both of us, man. You know, follow at Troll Free Sports on Twitter.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, again, man, repost it, share it, man. Like, let us know what y'all think, and let's really talk about it, man. So thank y'all, man, just for tuning in. Let's get in some more countries. Let's get all across the country. And everywhere. We need Cowboys Nation and Eagles Nation, man, to definitely put us out there, man. And we looking forward to keeping y'all informed, man, and to just keep coming with better stuff, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything, man. Just let us know. Just let us know what you think.
Looking forward to this season, y'all. It's going to be war, man. But, you know, Cowboys Nation, man, we going to keep rolling and keep laughing throughout the season, man. So, another great draft. Shout out to Will McClay, man, my boy, the unofficial GM, man. Jerry got to cut that out. Get that man the general manager title, not president or over director of pro personnel in college. That's the general manager, Jerry. Cut that nonsense out, man. Seriously. Goodness. All right, y'all, man. So we out, Jeff?
Yeah, we out, man. We check y'all, man. Just like I said, listen and just let us know what you think.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right.